the predicaments of women in today's hookup culture. Last night, I had a conversation with one of the women in my community, and I have her okay to share a little bit about her concerns and her struggles. And I hope this will help not just women, but also men, because you know what? We're both genders in this entire journey and ride. So, a little bit about the context. She's 11 years younger, so she's in her mid 20s, and she is duty dating. She's not necessarily in a relationship. She's not exactly clear yet what she wants, but she's meeting guys, all types of guys. And she's been having struggles with sex a lot until she had a struggle with somebody that she liked. So that's when we talked, and hopefully I got to clear up some issues. Essentially, there were three things, and I think they apply to both men and women. I think men look at these differently from women. So here's what they are, first of all. The first thing that I asked her was, what do you want? Do you want hookup or do you want a relationship? She didn't exactly know what to answer that question. So I let her with the invitation to think about it. And I only presented two main things about sex in the hookup culture versus the relationship culture / experience. Hookup, first of all, has one thing at the foundation. It's superficial. And as such, nowadays, it's also an excellent tool for consumption. There are a lot of products out there that are encouraging us to hook up. A lot of people are making money behind this. And essentially, it works because nobody's completely satisfied. It's superficial. So people need to consume more and more and more. Hookup is like the sugar in our diet. So we just want more. We crave for it. It's never good enough. It's not bad either, but it's not going to give us what we really want. We're not going to be satiated with that. Another thing based on this superficiality is that there can be all types of surprises, and including not just incompatibility in intimacy, but also really awkward, weird, unpleasant, yuck, and other onomatopoeia about, in terms of experiences, in terms of quality. And this was her struggle also because she wasn't really satisfied. And that's one thing that you need to keep in mind. The chances that you meet somebody with whom you have really good, not just chemistry, but also compatibility are relatively small. We're not necessarily a good match with most people out there. It's just how we are. Secondly, the entire hookup approach is that it's fast, it's not so much hustle, therefore not so much quality either. And this is where men and women look at it differently. Men can tolerate much easier, though it's not great for them either, average encounters, average sex. For women, yeah, it's less, average isn't really happening. It's either bad or it's good. Essentially because women orgasm most times harder, so the quality of the interaction is going to be felt much more profoundly than in the terms, or in the case of a man who can still have an orgasm. So he can release, he can get to the place that he wanted to. So, and I'm not saying that everybody does this, I'm saying that it's much easier for men. Though, also, some guys realize that, hookup is not necessarily gourmet sex, it's not necessarily high quality sex, it's not fulfilling. So some guys also have this awareness, and yeah, at a certain point they make a choice too. The second thing that I told her was that so this was a question, how do you make sure that you request for the things that you need? And then how do you hold yourself so that you actually receive what you requested for? Because there are two things here. One is you making a request And that takes a lot of courage. And that takes also a lot of skill to really verbalize as clearly as possible and as pleasantly as possible what you want. And then it's a totally different thing how it lands to the other person and how they actually give you what you ask for. Because just because you make a request, it doesn't mean that you get it. And that's why it's a good question. How do you hold yourself so that you actually get what you ask for? Especially when you don't know the person. If you're in the hookup culture, then chances are you don't know this person so well. They don't know you. They don't know how to really get into depth with you. They don't really know what your cues are, what your triggers are. So the chances of them messing up or you messing up with them are kind of high because there was no time to really get to know the person. It's hookup. And how do I define hookup? We've met once, twice, maybe thrice, and then we hit the sack. That's as, I don't know, outdated as it may sound to some of you. It's too little time to really know the person, to smell, quote unquote, the person, to feel into the person. You're not gonna do so great because you just don't know the person and they don't know you. You gotta let some time to feel into the other person. And if there's not enough time, then the good question is, how do you hold yourself so that you actually get what you ask for? That's through the way you embody yourself. And that's an entire topic to explore. And the third question that I asked her was, how do you work on your sexual esteem? Because no matter what happens, I mean, in hookup, you gotta assume this risk that not everything's gonna be great. I mean, sometimes you're gonna fail masterfully, sometimes things are just gonna go bad, and you need to have some self-esteem to really manage the fact that the situation isn't great. So not take it personally, not take it as your own issue of performance, not, I don't know, reproach yourself and so on. So you really gotta work on your sexual esteem. So how do you do that? That was my question for her. And you need a lot of it. If you're out there duty dating and duty sleeping with people, then you need a lot of sex esteem and self-esteem to take in the failure with the success. Because otherwise it's going to take you down. It's going to crumble your relaxation, your confidence, and it's going to get to the quality of your interactions in time also. So it's going to nail it basically in the wrong way or in the worst way possible. So working on your sex esteem and self-esteem, that's definitely worth investing in. And all of these questions, so what do you want? Do you want hookup or relationship? How do you hold yourself so that you get what you ask for in an interaction? And how do you work on your self-esteem and sexual esteem? These are all questions that need addressing in time. And I think that's my personal opinion as far as I've seen people that I've worked with, people that I've spoken to, colleagues and so on. The better you are at answering these three questions, the more chances that you enjoy yourself, not just in a relationship, but also in hookup. So you gotta have some skills, you gotta have some strong foundation. Otherwise, no matter where you go, relationship or hookup, you're still gonna get messed up because there's no solid foundation for you. There's no, how do I say this, a toolkit for you. So these are questions that I wanted to share with you. I have her okay to share everything that I shared here. Hopefully they're gonna help. I'm gonna put them also in the description of this video. Check that out and yeah, consider these. Since we have so much time to think about these things these days, take some time to think about this and take some time to actually learn some sex skills. And I'm not talking about texts so that you can use to pick up somebody. I'm not talking about techniques, to massage or do oral sex or anal sex or anything of that matter. I'm talking about real inner knowledge, inner confidence, inner calm, resourcefulness, these things. since we're all in a pause now, I think this is a great time to work on these things. Think about it, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.